What is going on, folks? Welcome to another video. We got another freight delivery. I didn't expect this to be freight. Goodness, look at that big gash, Jupiter. But this is Queen Studios Optimus Prime bust. Ridiculously big boxes. Like these are, that's, I think, is that Captain America? Wait, no, that's Alien. It is almost bigger than Alien bust box. Like, it's as tall, but it's fatter. It's a little fatter than the Alien bust box. The other Alien bust box is up there, and this is bigger. This is stupid big. Now, I do have box space, fortunately, but good God. These massive boxes are brutal, folks. And I know this is a big bust, but Jupiter's freaking cock. So I'm not even going to bring this inside. I'm going to unbox this here, carry it part by part. And I know it's a lot of parts, which sucks, but I have no choice. I can't even probably fit this through my door. And it's pretty warm today in Utah, so it's like 76, which is hot for me. And I was supposed to go to the gym right now, but instead we're opening this. So probably just hit the gym tomorrow. Anywho, let's go ahead and get this unboxed. Big shout out to Resin GK for getting this to me. He DHL shipped this to me for a great price. And I can imagine it was a fortune to freight ship DHL, something like this. So big thanks for that. Let's go ahead and unbox this. Just wanted to show you guys my technique for getting the boxes out. I don't take colored boxes out anymore. I don't care to ever see them. In fact, I wish they'd stop doing colored boxes. I don't want to spend money on it. But I'm basically just removing the styrofoam directly out of this. You know. So I already got one out, pretty big and heavy, as you can see. Haven't opened it up just yet. I want to get them both out, because then I can clean my hands and start carrying it piece by piece into the cave. But yeah, these boxes, I mean, holy frick. That is stupid big. Oh, good God. Like, these are really big. Like, basically, it's almost the size of the Hulk Buster box. It's just not a container, but it's basically as big as Hulk Buster. 2 Hulk Buster boxes. So I hope this piece is huge in person, though. You know, because I want it to be big because it's going next to Jetwing, which is gigantic. But these are definitely 2 of the biggest cardboard boxes I've received. You know, outside of Prime 1 Sauron, or Infinity Studios Sauron. Other than that, it's definitely one of the biggest. Alrighty, so we got the other box out. It does include instructions, a COA. I got number 47 of 199. And what is this? An assembly guide. Look at that. That's fancy. Nice. And this, yeah, I'll definitely display that COA behind it, for sure. And then as you can see, here's the straps. So, the boxes were pretty banged up, but, you know, it had a good amount of protection. Plus, this foam, I find, is better than standard white foam in protecting. Let's see what we got. Oh, my good God. Oh, this is going to take me 4 hours. And bringing it piece by piece. Oh, F me, folks. What about this one? What the heck? Is this upside down? The straps is at the bottom. I think this one's upside down. Jupiter's cock. Alrighty. Had to flip it upside down. The other one has the main body. So we'll want to carry this in first. This one, not as many pieces. It's this one. How many layers you got? One. Let's see. 1. That. 3 layers. Seems like it's just right here. There's a lot of parts. Definitely going to take a while. So I'm only going to show the major parts. Here's the base. I am planning on putting this on a Lazy Susan. Check that base out. Very weathered. So far, so good. Hopefully no issues. If it was to be damaged, for example, this is what I think would be damaged, or the head. This type of things rarely ever gets damaged. Like, rarely. So, yeah. Anyways, folks, let's start setting this up. Alrighty, so I wanted to show you the assembly guide. So basically you have this, which lists every single part, and there's 53 53 on A, but then B also has 17 parts, or no, not as many. So a ton of parts, and you have 4 pages. Now this is like back to back talking about it. This is definitely going to be the most I've ever done hands down for a bust in my life. You know, like, holy frick, folks. This is going to take like 4 hours. You know, like that. This is that one top layer you saw. This is all the parts, 35 different parts. The layer underneath, you got like the bigger part. So it's only this top layer that has a ton, but then there's the bigger ones under here. And then this other box only has, you know, very little, which is nice. You know, and then this, where it says the assembly guide, it doesn't talk too much. It just talks about licensing, size, aftercare, stuff like that. But yeah, this is definitely process. I wish I could, you know, have this downstairs. It's more difficult having to carry each of these individually. You know, I might be able to take just this top layer and put that downstairs. Everything else, I would probably just rather keep it here. But I might take this downstairs. I think it might just be easier to carry all this into my main theater room, and then from there, each individual part into the transformer room. Anyways, so yeah, first step is definitely, you know, taking the body out. And then install A2 to the body. And you have to basically go here and find, okay, so it's that part. And you install it. Doesn't really kind of show you where, you kind of just have to guess. Luckily, there is a video by NerdSphere setting this up, so I'll probably watch that video a lot. Alrighty, folks, I just carried the body downstairs. Probably weighs about 50 pounds. I took these parts out so I could just put that styrofoam away, and we can spread this styrofoam apart. Definitely out of breath. I had to maneuver. I had to move Kong Bust and Orgrim Doomhammer. That was it. But definitely pretty heavy. No, definitely skipping the gym today. Here's the Matrix of Leadership. It's not as big as I thought it would be, and not as detailed, honestly. It's also very heavy, much heavier than I thought. I'll show you in comparison to the Prime one I got, but I think my Prime one is more detailed. But that still looks good, and that's the base for it. Alrighty, so we did step 1. Now comes the bazillions of parts. So I don't want this video to be 50 hours long, so I'm only going to show a few updates. So yeah, from here on out, I'm going to show you what, you know, the standard looks like on my shelf, and then we'll probably add half and then add the other half and then review it. Alright, so I do have this on a Lazy Susan, which is going to make the unboxing much better, but I do want to be able to like rotate it as need be. But that is just the base thing, and then of course this is where the Matrix of Leadership will go. So I'll have this right here. Here's a comparison versus the Prime 1 version. Like, it's almost the same size, but the Prime 1, like, look at that, and then look at that. That's way more detail. Like, yeah, the Prime 1 version looks better, honestly. Of course, Queen has a better base, but if we're comparing just the two, this has a better metallic paint app with weathering and way more intricacies and, like, holes right there. This is, you know, one whole piece. So in terms of this, I know this is just like a freebie add-on, but this only cost me like, what was that, $200? It's literally almost the same size. Slightly bigger, maybe 5% bigger, but not nearly as detailed. Like, the detail in the paint app is half as good. So that's a huge disappointment. I don't think it's life size either. I think it was bigger. Nevertheless, it's a freebie. I like the base it comes on. I do almost wonder if I could just put the Prime 1 version here since it's far better. This looks good so far. No complaints here. But that, you effed up, Queen. You did terrible. But I didn't buy the bus for that. That's just a freebie add-on. Let's go ahead and start setting this guy up, though. Alrighty, folks. So, we got everything downstairs finally. I put the head on just immediately. I didn't want to lay it on the ground. There's the head. I will say this head is about the same size as my old Optimus bust I used to have, the Camino Bluetooth speaker one. Now that was that Transformers version, not this one. Granted, they're very similar. Here's the head though. Overall looks good. You know, it's the size of a human-sized head, just Optimus Prime. Here's all the big parts. So all the big parts are in here, and these are actually pretty darn heavy. Like that and that probably weigh 15 pounds each. I'm going to assume once this bus is completely assembled, it's going to weigh 100 pounds. Now, but here's the big stuff. For the little stuff, I just brought the entire styrofoam down. You know, and put it right here with the instructions. And we'll just carry each piece, you know, probably multiple pieces. Usually pieces come in doubles. You know, it's the same on like the left to the right side. So yeah, now we're fully ready. It's already 11 minutes and I barely even assembled anything. Let's just set it up halfway. Alrighty folks, we are definitely getting there. We've put on quite a few things. Some of this stuff I can just guess and I know what goes there. I've set up an Optimus Prime many times. But we got a lot of good stuff on the front. Once you add these, which is the side shoulder things, it makes it super wide. So technically, if you didn't want to display it, it'd look like that. But it's definitely super wide. Several things have light ups, but you gotta like press a button. Some are rechargeable batteries. You have to remove parts. You know, like these two things light up, but to get access to it is like uber inconvenient. This has a light up, but it did not include batteries. There's a little button right here. I think for light up, I'd probably only utilize those in the head because those are just too inconvenient. And if you have to remove like 5 pieces to gain access to it, because like one, you have a little battery that you turn. And once you turn it, then it turns on and then you have to put the part back, similar to like an Iron Man statue. So it's something I will light it up for the review, but after that, it will never be lit up again. The only thing I'll probably light up is these two things and the head. Just because this is just a convenient, you know, button right here. And then the head, I haven't tested. I don't even know how it lights up. I haven't looked into it, but yeah. So we still have quite a few big parts and a bunch of small parts. Alrighty, so 2 of the big parts that were on the ground is this and that go on the back. This increases the depth a ton. So you have these gigantic things here. There's also a part that goes right here. Now this is supposed to install the giant peg here, and then it looks like it wants these to go inside. As you can see, those are not going inside. Now the magnet is incredibly strong and it's gigantic, so I'm not worrying about it. I'd probably have to heat it up and bend that resin if I truly wanted it to go in. But as you can see, it's not even like, this one is very close, but it won't go in even a little. Granted, this is in the back, so not a big deal, but it looks like it did want those to go in there. But yeah, especially this one. I mean, look at that. That's like an inch off, which kind of tells me that, you know, Queen Studios QC is just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Like they never even set this up. If they did, they would have been like, oh, this is misaligned. Anywho, not a big deal. Alright, YouTubers, so we do have Optimus Bust all set up. Here he is in all his glory. I don't have every single light up set up. Here's the thing. So the head, surprisingly, takes LR41s. If you're unfamiliar, that is like the smallest of batteries. Additionally, these are LR41s, not even LR44s, which is what like that takes. And it takes 3 of them. I had 3 for the head. I don't have any additional ones. I didn't have a lot of them. I have more LR44s, you know, and LR44s, which are about double the size, usually die out very quickly. So I know the LR41s are going to die out super quick. You know, so like for this, you just press a button to turn that light up on. This you have to remove. You know, the light up isn't the best on this. It's a little bit better on that one. It's like batteries and a button at the bottom. This, there's a button right here to turn these 3 lights on. And those 3 lights have never lit on a Prime 1. And then these can light up. Let me see. Where's that? Could have swore. There you go. Yeah, so this one is actually a rechargeable battery. And then there also is this one that can light up. Oh my goodness. This right here. So you have to literally, as you can see, you have to remove this. And there's a little flashlight here. So you got to remove this flashlight and then twist it. And then that one will light up. So that one's way too inconvenient. Plus it's at the bottom. I wouldn't mind getting that lit up, but at a minimum, I think this is good for the light up. Those are rechargeable batteries. It does include a USB charging cable. And then the eyes, of course, bring a lot of life to it. The eye battery isn't that hard. I mean, I wish it was just like, you know, me pressing a button. Instead, you have to remove this. It's not super inconvenient. You know, you just press in on the button. You know, like, still, that is kind of annoying. You know. And then this, of course, I have to put my hand back here and push it. This one goes down and up, so they're not all the same. I wish it was all press button, you know. And you got to be careful. As you can see, this moves easily. You don't want to break it. But generally speaking, I'm not going to be having the light up on too often. Like I said, I'll probably only use those two. I do want to see what the light up looks like in that, so I will install it. But I really hate having to remove parts to use batteries. And although those might be LR40 ones inside that little flashlight, I need to check if they are. I'll remove them and install it there, because that one is just a button at the top, so it's much more convenient. Anyways, let's go ahead and get some dimensions, because this is definitely a huge bus and stupid heavy. Alrighty, so of course the widest point is going to be from that shoulder to that shoulder, which measures about 37 inches wide. So that is absolutely one of my widest buses. I mean, of course, Thanos bus is the widest. 37, I mean, Captain America was 3 feet, so it's technically wider than Captain America. It is 24 inches deep and 3 feet tall. I do have it on that Lazy Susan, which more or less all 3 Lazy Susans are on, you know, all these are on Lazy Susans. I can't turn it completely, of course. I can only move it, you know, a few inches, but it works good. Fortunately, it does not block him, you know, which is great. I put the COA there. Now, the COA is in Japanese or Chinese, so I can't understand it. But I was considering getting a life-size Allspark and displaying it there, and then I can move the logo over there. I do think I could fit the life-size Allspark. Fortunately, this blocks the bad part of the poster, which is the Shia. I can still see the girl and Optimus, so boom. Poster works good. It does fit overall great. You know, his gun is slightly blocking. Now, I could scoot him over a tiny bit if I want to, but it's not a big deal at all. You know, so this matrix of leadership, let's check this out. I like the fact they include this. I wish it was bigger and more detailed. I have not tried the Prime 1 on this just yet. Alrighty, so the Prime 1 actually does fit. So check it out. I also realized that mine did arrive damaged on this one. They're all supposed to be the exact same, and mine is missing a piece. I need to check the box to see, you know, if it's included, but it's obviously broken right here, and this one was bent severely. So even though it seemed like good packaging, mine did arrive damaged. This one does have like slight indents to fit this, but you know, as you can see, they're about the same size, but this one just looks much better. So I may just keep the Prime 1 there and keep this one. You know, I could hide the damage in the back. And this actually fits here as well. So I could just keep the Prime 1 on there since it does fit, and it's, like I said, more detailed. So I do like the inclusion of that. Like I said, that is probably the worst part of the whole statue just because it does lack detail. It's very heavy in metal, yet the Prime 1 is super light. It probably like almost plastic, but it looks better. It's better painted and more detailed and more resilient. So let's check out Optimus. So his base is obviously themed after his whole like fire truck look. It's definitely a very weathered bust all throughout. you know, and some parts I'm like, is that dust or is it weathering? And it's weathering. You know, and there's parts that you'd almost think like, is that damaged? You know, like, no, but this is all weathering actually. And throughout the whole bust, it does have different weathering like this, some rust, almost a dusty look. You know, like, look at that. Oh, that almost looks like dust, but that's actually the paint app to give that, you know, very weathered look. I think the red matches really good with the Prime 1 Jetwing. It's almost identical. The red and the blues are very similar. There are, you know, of course I have been comparing the two, you know, because that's what I can compare it to. There's definitely some things that, you know, I noticed, like the giant gap right here where the Prime 1 is virtually almost touching. I mean, there is a tiny gap. Maybe it's just because it's life size, it's much more noticeable. Parts in the Prime 1 like this have a metallic paint app where this one is not metallic. You know, I think I prefer the metallic look. I think they should have painted this metallic looking. You know, this does have like the Transformer writing right there in there. This one, exact same. Now the Prime 1, this is like a metallic paint, but it is like plastic, where this is like a resin and it's semi-metallic. You know, this just really blows up everything that this kind of is. And overall, I do think it looks real good. There's definitely some differences, you know, like here, this is silver, where this, it's bronze. Also, those are bronze, silver on that. But on the inside right there is bronze, and here it's silver. You know, so there's stuff like that. I don't know which one is 100% accurate to the movie. You know, like we could look at the Optimus right there and kind of see. You know, it's probably the closest thing. You know, I mean, I guess if you look at that window right there, it's not touching. It actually is kind of far like that, so it's accurate there. You know, the Transformers logo right there is silver. This one, they decided to go red. That one, I believe is, let me double check this one, red as well. And in the movie, I can't remember what it is, but I don't mind if it's silver or red. It's not a huge deal. Definitely a lot going on this bust. So much to see. It's not like, you know, my other busts where almost, you know, the majority of it's kind of the same. Overall, I like the base. I think it fits the theme. It looks good. You know, it matches Transformers. It's decently sized on the base. You know, I'd say that's roughly about 20 by 20. Nice big Transformers logo with a red outline, silver on the middle. It also is quite weathered as well, that logo. You know, so it looks good. You know, of course, you know, this is like a, almost like a muddy, as you can see right there, look on the window. And the windshield wipers, you know, they're super big. And then this is an actual mirror, as you can see. You know, the Prime 1, yeah, that's not a mirror. You know, that is definitely, you know, just like a see-through plastic. And this, honestly, is pretty thick. This, you know, I don't want to put like fingerprints on it, but I don't know if that's actual glass or like a thick PVC, but it looks really good and it's very weathered. The windshield wipers look great. These little lights look good, you know, and this one, it's very hard to see, and they kind of just painted them blue. You know, so that definitely looks better. You know, it blows up a lot of detail that's kind of hard to see on this. You know, parts are just much, much overall bigger. You know, of course, this one is missing these because he's wearing his jetpack, but it has these giant exhaust things, and they're really cool. You know, like, check that out. This one has it. Kind of see, like, some differences between the two. But, you know, the exhaust for the diesel truck. You know, the magnets are all pretty strong, as you saw. You know, it's like everything's in really good. You know, all the magnets are quite strong, big, thick pegs. I didn't try to lift the bust as a whole, but like I said, it probably weighs 100 pounds. Great presence. Just a ton going on. The instructions overall, I think, were pretty good. It did take me, let's see, what time is it? 4:45 p.m. Jupiter. Let's see what time I get off that call. About 2:30. Yeah, so almost 2 hours to set this up. Now, of course, that's because I had to transfer everything from my garage into my, upstairs, then from upstairs to downstairs, then downstairs into this room. So that, obviously delayed a ton. A lot of detail on like this, like look at this guts part or whatever you want to call it. Like check this out. Just look at all that detail. It's crazy good. And then let's compare it to this one, which is everything blown up. So yeah, as you can see it a lot better. And then this one ends right at the bottom of the belly. Yeah, and you can see the inner workings. Looks really good. Like check out the weathering right here. It's not picking up in camera quite as well, but it's really good weathering. All these mechanical parts. The exhausts on the back are freaking huge. Yeah, it's a fantastic bus. Now this is priced retail $4,000. Which is the price of a silicone bust. Now, of course, this is not silicone, but this is huge. This cost as much as Captain America bust for me. And they are similar of size. This is a human life-size Optimus bust. Of course, not movie size. Movie size would fill my entire house. But I think it looks really good, folks. I really like this. It blows up the, just imagine the Prime one just blown up. Few different paint apps, here and there, like I've pointed out. Some things are bronze or silver, some has metallic paint. In general, the Queen bust does not have a ton of metallic paint app. I'd say the closest to their metallic is probably the exhaust. That has a semi-metallic look. Everything else isn't super metallic looking, but it does look really good. Like the weathering, the overall paint app. The eyes light up. I do like it. I just wish they went with a different method of me not having to do this. Because like that is freaking annoying. Like I shouldn't have to do that. But the lightness level is good. And you can see the actual, like, let me zoom in. Let's see. You guys can sort of see it right there. But the eyes actually have like little detail. Like the inner part of this eye is actually quite intricate and detailed. So it's like, yeah, the Prime one, you can't see anything there. When it's lit up, it's just a light. There's nothing beyond that. So yeah, the eyes definitely, you can see just a lot more detail. Yeah, it definitely looks really good, folks. I really like this. I wish the light up was better. I think that is one big miss. If they could have somehow just incorporated a USB plug-in for the whole unit and you press one button, it turns everything up, that would have been far better. I think it is possible. They could have incorporated, LEDs through there, run it up through that, just have everything, and then the head. They definitely could have did it. So they definitely cheaped out. I think a few parts could probably be painted more metallic, like those big drums. I think I'd prefer if those were metallic looking, similar to the Prime 1. And this one also, it's metallic looking. I like, the mirrors and the windows and all the inner detail, just so much going on. I'm also glad they did the full back and didn't, like some of their earlier busts that had no back. It was just a front. And I hate when companies do that. Like the more recent ECC Hellboy bust, it's just a front. There's so little detail on that body. Like that's probably the worst body on a bust I've ever seen. Just zero detail throughout. Nothing. They could have added so much more, yet they charged $2,000. So, this guy ships in the 2 gigantic boxes. So shipping is, of course, a lot. I think if you were to order this through a US retailer, it's going to have to go freight, and it's going to be at least $500. So all in, you're looking at $4,500 for this bust. If you do a US retailer, I think, I'm not going to tell you what I pay through Resin GK, but I think if you got it through China, sea shipping, you're probably looking at maybe $5,000. Might still be $1,000 sea shipping. So yeah, overall, it's a masterpiece. It's just the light up sucks and the matrix of leadership sucks. Those are the big 2 negatives. Otherwise, I think the bust is phenomenal. It's huge, incredibly detailed, just a monster piece, just like, look how big it is next to those, pieces. Let me back it up and show the whole wall. Alrighty, folks. So here's the whole wall, complete Optimus Prime bust. Of course, I know you guys, I was talking about potentially getting the Bumblebee bust. I did have a US buyer, but their face was totally broken and just repairing it would cost too much. So I ended up passing. I would love a Bumblebee bust, but I think I'll probably just end it at Optimus. To get a Bumblebee bust, I'd have to sell that bottom Optimus. I don't know if I want to do that. Optimus is one of my favorite characters. And this bust and Jetwing combo is just absolutely phenomenal. I'd say it's probably my best bust and statue setup now in my collection. Just freakishly huge. More than a full garage shelf. I think this beats out Alien, Predator, any other bust and statue setup I got. So absolutely insane job. Definitely could have been better in a few areas, but overall, it's a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. One of my favorite. See over there, across the room, Nazgul bust. So Optimus is definitely worth it. 200 edition size, so nice low ES. The only issue I had was that Matrix of Leadership broken. I'm actually going to look to just get that replaced. I'm going to go search the box to see if I can find that damaged part, but I'm going to see if Queen can get me a replacement, considering there is an issue. I went ahead and just returned it there because it does sit in a little bit better than the Prime one. But yeah, the problem is the part where it's broken is where it has to display. Like this is the angle it displays, and no matter what, I'm going to see this issue. So I need to search the box to see if it's there. Otherwise, I need to get a replacement up for that Matrix. So I'll contact Resin GK and just Queen Direct to see if they can just ship me a new one. But anyways, folks, let me know what you think of Optimus Bust. This is my final Transformer statue. Unless all of a sudden I decide to get Bumblebee Bust. The problem is, as you saw, my garage, I am maxed out on box space. Bumblebee is also 2 ginormous boxes. And so I just don't have the space. It's just like space is a huge concern. So, for box space is what I mean. Like, I am just... goodness gracious. I don't have box space for, a lot of upcoming statues. I might have to start throwing some things away or figure something out. But yeah, overall, awesome job, Queen Studios. Absolutely love it. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys are looking to buy any statues, definitely hit up Resin GK. He does have a Thanos bust right now available, ready to ship. Sea shipping from China, $9,800. To give you guys a little bit of reference on my Thanos, I paid $8,500 from the US. And it is still my favorite piece to date. So if you want the best piece from Flankster's collection in your collection, hit up Resin GK, link in the description below, and you guys can buy that Thanos bust off them. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.